What is up, guys? We are live. Welcome to the Bags to Riches podcast. I'm your host, Zach Ginn. I'm joined here by Antoine Campbell, senior, out of what market are you in? I don't think we talked about that.
Yeah, I cover the whole Mid-Atlantic. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead. So what market are you in?
So I'm actually in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, South Carolina, a little bit of Georgia, and we're currently going back to Florida.
Wow, cool, man. But the reason why I wanted you on this podcast today is because you've been absolutely destroying it in virtual wholesaling, and really wanted to pick your brain and see how you're actually doing it and how you can teach other people the success you've been having. And really, one of the best skill sets I've seen from you is just utilizing VAs in your virtual wholesaling business to really delegate it and scale up a business. So I'm excited to have you on.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you considering me on your show.
Sweet. So really quickly, what is your story getting into real estate wholesaling?
Yeah, so my story goes back to about 1998 when I was working with my granddad, right? He had a construction business in Washington, D.C., doing renovations on properties, fixing and flipping properties. And one day I was sitting there on the side of the truck and I seen my grandfather get handed a $5,000 check for us just to tear off a roof and, gut out the house. And I told my granddad, I said, wow, that's a lot of money, granddad. He said, yeah, they pay me good. And then I said to myself, what does this guy do? He said, oh, he going to fix it up and he's going to sell it and make some money. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, so hold on. He's willing to pay you $5,000. How much is he really going to make? So that had me kind of like going and going. And then to see the project as we, gutted out and it looked like trash and then come back, a few months later to get the last little bit of trash from when they put the new stuff in, it was a completely brand new house. And ever since then, I said, wow, that's what I want to do. I want to be a house flipper. And that was like 1998. I was probably like 10, 11. I worked with my granddad on the weekends. He paid me $50 a day. And to me, that was great money being 11 years old. And as I got older, I always made sure to keep real estate in my heart. You know what I mean? Like, I used to stay up all night, watch the UPN channel. I'm not sure if you had the UPN channel, but at night, they had these infomercials on. And I used to watch the guys walk down the beach, and you could be like this if you invest in real estate. And that really got my blood pumping. Like I said, wow, I want to be at the beach making money like the dude that gave my granddaddy a $5,000 check. And that's my story. And then, as I got older, I graduated high school in 2007. And I was supposed to go straight into real estate. But as you know, in 2007, going to 2008, the economy collapsed. And I lost my dad. I saw my dad lost his house. My mom and dad had a terrible divorce. And instead of me going straight into real estate and becoming a realtor and ultimately becoming an investor, I found a job, right? And then once I found a job, I got offered another job and I started working at a hotel. This is not no ordinary 100-room, 200-room hotel. This is a 1,600-room hotel right here in Maryland called Gaylord National. And I started washing dishes. So the crazy thing about it was I was with my girlfriend at the time. This is a very long time ago, 2008, 2009ish. And she was like, my friend called me like, hey, bro, they having a job fair at this new hotel. I said, man, nobody gonna hire me. What am I going to do? I don't know nothing about a hotel. So when I got there, I met this guy named Bob. He was like a big manager. He's from Africa. He's from Sierra Leone. And he said, hey, big man, what you doing? And I said, oh, man, I'm just looking for a job. What you got for me? I'm just joking. That's how I talk to people. And he said, man, I might got something for me. Tell me what you want. I said, shit, man, I wash dishes if you give me that. Like, because in my head, I'm thinking that's all I can apply myself to. And he said, you'll wash dishes? Man, I've been trying to fill these positions all day. How about $12.40 an hour? And I'm like, $12.40 an hour for me to wash dishes? I said, shit, I'll take it. Because at the time, I was making $8.50 at McDonald's, right? So, like, I'm walking around work like, yeah, I'm about to make more than my store manager. And I'm happy and excited. And that was the best time of my life, honestly. Um, I worked there from 2008 all the way up to 2013.
Wow.
And, literally, I learned so much. One thing I can take my head off to big companies, they don't mind investing in their people.
Mm.
So fast forwarded to that, me becoming an entrepreneur, I knew in my heart that yeah, I'm making $63,000 a year. That's great, but at some point in time, I got to figure out how to get to that level. What that
Mm.
do was write my granddaddy the $5,000 check. So I looked at my wife. By then, I got married, got happily married with LaShawn. We're still married to this day. And I said, honey, we get $10,000 back this year from the government because we had two kids on income credit. You know the American situation. And I said, I want to start a business with that money. Every year we get this money and we buy a new couch set. We do something that really doesn't take us to the next level. And she said, you know what? Let's do it. And she gave me the $10,000. We started our first business. It was amazing. It was a tagging title. Well, in Maryland, you're allowed to sell tags out of your office instead of you going to the DMV getting your tags in. I learned a lot from that business. And then as I worked that business, I looked at it and told I'm not happy. I want to do real estate. And I initially started off doing real estate by fix and flipping. My first deal was a fix and flip in Washington, D.C. I did that deal with no money out of pocket. I didn't know nothing about creative financing. All I knew is that I needed to do this deal. So the hard money lenders told me I needed $67,000 to come to the table to purchase a $337,000 house and had $65,000 for renovations, closing costs, and 12 months worth of interest reserve payments. And I went to the seller and said, hey, listen, I love to buy your house, but I got one issue. I need $67,000. And she said, what that got to do with me? Well, I'm going to buy your house for $337,000. It's free and clear. And this house isn't yours. Like someone died and gave it to your son and you're their guardian. Why don't you give me a loan for $67,000? And I pay you back when I sell the house.
Hmm.
And that's how I did my first deal. Didn't even know nothing about this. Is before the subject to stuff and before
Wow.
everybody and their mother started talking about subject to. And I didn't know I did some type of creative stuff. It was by accident. I just wanted to do a deal.
Wow. How much was that first deal, like profit wise?
I made about 54,000.
Wow. That's man. What did it feel like getting that first deal?
Honestly, bro, like the amount of work that I put to get to that first deal and get that check, it felt like minimum wage. I just be honest with you. Like people sit here and lie to you and tell you, "Oh, I felt great." No, I didn't. I put in 8 months worth of sweat and labor and failure. Got robbed multiple times by contractors and all types of people. This business is a tough business just to make $54,000, right? Remember, my job paid me 60-something thousand for a year. So me working 8 months straight just to get 54,000, it sounds sexy on the outside, but I still felt like I wasn't getting ahead.
Wow. Okay. And I mean, fast forward, it seems like you were physically doing deals there. When did you start making the push to go virtual?
Well, I don't know if you know too much about the DC market. It's very competitive. Even before
Oh,
this whole economy thing with the COVID and all that, it was competitive. And we realized that it wasn't sustainable, right? I'm
mm,
trying to find deals, people asking unrealistic numbers. I'm talking to other wholesalers trying to network with them to do deals. And then I looked at my wife and said, hey, you know what? I'm always big on cutting the middleman out. Let's just do our own lead generation ourselves.
hmm,
I was hanging at the RIAs and the meetups, and they didn't teach me nothing. You know, that's not to bash any meetups and RIAs, but like the information was outdated. They was telling me to make offers on the MLS. Mind you, nothing was sticking when I tried to make offers on the MLS. And then I started going to YouTube, and I learned about cold calling and sales and all this crazy stuff. It was just a different world to me, bro. And that's when things took off because I looked at my wife and said, you know what? We're going to start our own marketing campaign, and we're going to do, and then next thing you know, we're locking up all these deals, and we don't have enough money to close on everything. And that's when we started to say, you know what? Let's try to sell to other people and just take what we can take and keep it pushing.
okay. Wow. And what was the first virtual wholesaling deal you did then?
Yeah, so my first virtual wholesaling deal was in Florida, right?
Wow.
We was calling West Palm Beach, and literally,
Market.
I was trying to lock up deals in Palm Beach because honestly, I was trying to move there. So I would say, well, if I can do deals here, then I can justify to move there. Come to find out, the guy didn't want to sell his house in Palm Beach, but then I further build rapport. I learned from YouTube to keep talking to people. You never know where the conversation go. And he had this piece of land in Port Charlotte, Florida that he just wanted to part ways with. And we ended up closing on that deal. So that was my first deal I've done virtually.
Wow. And how did you start scaling that up to where you're at now? Because it's pretty impressive what you've been able to do.
Man, trial and error, brother. Like I'm not afraid to put my money out there and lose it. I'm not afraid to fail. Right. My whole journey been documented since day one, and I can tell you, like, it's not peaches and roses. So for me, I had a friend, right, and this I'm gonna get to the VA stuff. I had a friend, and I was like, man, I'm just sick and tired of cold calling. I don't like no one talking to me any type of way, like the disrespect that people give you from cold calling. I just can't tolerate it. And my friend by the name of John Myers said, hey, bro, I got this girl. She got VAs for $3 an hour. I said, shit, $3 an hour? Really? He said, yeah. I said, who in the world would work for $3 an hour? So me, just being me, I go look it up, and it's true. $3 an hour. People work for $3 an hour. I said, okay, who would I need to talk to? And this is a big lesson. I talked to the person that was going to provide the VAs, nasty attitude, very pushy, very arrogant. Like, she's a Filipino, but she was like I guess the owner of the company. And she just had a big disconnect with me. And I'm like, I'm the most big friendly person you could come across. If, man, you having issues, I know you want to have issues with everybody else. So then I looked at the girl and said, you know what? I like this VA. I don't like you. How about I pay you a fee if you just let me take off your hand? I deal with her directly. And she said, cool. I sent her $100 on PayPal, and the rest is history. I didn't know nothing about managing a VA, but I did have a prior business before, and I knew about running businesses. And then I just took what I knew over the years and experience and said, okay, let's systematize every single thing. That way I can replace myself as soon as possible.
Wow. Okay. And scaling up to where you're at now, I mean, what are your numbers roughly looking like deal wise?
Yeah, we 3 to 5 deals a month. I don't have a big wholesaling operation. I got 2 acquisition VAs, and I got 7 other VAs that help me run my real estate business. Right? I'm not the guy who's gonna tell you I do $2-3 million a year. That's not my thing. I want to create a business that is not involved with my day-to-day involvement. And if I can do that, I'm happy. I'm good.
Wow. I mean, I was hearing some of you talking on some like other types of like podcasts on, and it's very similar where I'm at. I mean, how many hours a week do you think you're working in the actual wholesaling business? So I know you got YouTube channels and everything else like that, but I mean,
wholesaling business, 5 hours. I can't remember the last time I did a 10-hour shift.
Wow. That's impressive. That's crazy. And then what is the majority of your day looking like then? If you're not actually in the trenches talking to sellers, doing all the dispo, where's that 5 hours being spent?
Most of that 5 hours just me on Skype, texting and talking to my employees and directing them and giving them good advice on how to continue to push the operation.
Okay. Wow. And what would you say, because you got a VA doing everything here, what's the most important role in the whole system for your operations right now?
I think all the roles are important. I just think that you just got to understand how to prioritize them. Right. So when you start to neglect one part of your business, the rest of your business become weak and vulnerable. So one of the things that you got to do is you just got to have a bird's eye view of what you're trying to do. You just got to have long-term and short-term goals and making sure them goals align to what your ultimate vision is for your business.
Okay. And so what is the majority of your marketing looking like now?
Texting. We do a shit ton of texting,
Wow.
cold calling. I never done direct mail before, except for like on follow-ups, but never at a cold perspective, like trying to get people to call me. But just a lot of texting. Every day we send out probably between 3,000 to 7,000 text messages a day.
Wow. And who are you using for your texting?
Honestly, bro, I'm a fair guy. I use everybody. I use the smarter contact. We just started using REI Reply. We like that. It's a little complicated work, but we'll get through it. And we're using REI Real.
Okay. And overall, I'm probably going to ask this question in the comments, so I'm just asking you, is there any changes that you think are going to happen with the Trace Act when it comes to your SMS and your cold calling?
Right now, we're just rocking what we got. If something happens, if things change, we adjust accordingly. But right now, I'm not the type of person, I don't like to speculate. I like to have that tunnel vision, keep doing what I'm doing. and keep pushing. And one of the things I suggest to everybody is to create hire a lawyer to create an LLC, and whatever your main LLC you operate under, don't have your name on no paperwork.
That's gems right there. Like, make sure you write that down. So that's absolutely huge. So SMS is primary right now. One thing I got to ask you about SMS is, how are you utilizing the VA on there? So like, you get the message, you send them out, and then I'm assuming your VA is replying to the text. When do you know when to hand that off to the acquisitions person to do their job?
So we got a system, right? We got what we call warm and hot, and lukewarm leads, right? So once the leads get to about a warmish, we'll put that inside our Podio. A lot of people, they just put everything in Podio, and it confuses them. So we only put what we know for a fact that we can possibly close, or the person listening to an offer. Or we check PropStream. PropStream got a new filter where you see that you can look up a person's address and see that they have multiple properties. Yep. And if we see that they got 5 or 6 properties, even though they say just give me an offer, we'll put them over the Podio and make their notation, because we know for a fact that there's other properties we can push for and ask about.
Okay. And what are the most important KPIs you're looking for on your marketing when it comes to your VAs?
Most important, all of them to me is important, but the most important KPIs is, I say the number of calls and texts made, the contact rate, and then the number of leads generated from that. That's the most 3 important ones, I think.
Okay. And when it comes to the actual SMS side also, is it just the VA sifting through the text and then giving it to an acquisitions person? What are the compartmentalized roles when it comes to marketing through Dispo?
Yeah, so our marketing team is set up very simple. We have a lead manager, we have SMS managers, we have SMS associates, we have cold callers, and our lead manager manages everybody. So we have a 4-touch sequence where, we hit the list, we text them, we call them, we RV them, whatever we got to do, and then we do it again. And, so we try our best to stay consistent. We know for a fact it takes between 8 to 15 touches to get the average person on the phone. So we like to really be aggressive with our marketing.
Wow. Okay. And are you using Podio?
Yeah, I have my custom owned build CRM. It's called REI Levo. And that came by accident. That wasn't done on purpose. What happened was I couldn't find a CRM that fit me as I started to grow my business. And then I just found me a developer, and we've been working for the last 2.5 years together.
Wow. Okay. And probably one of the most important parts about VAs that I really want to pick your brain on, because seems like a crapshoot almost, like getting a VA, because sometimes one's good, one's bad. They got bad habits. Some are really good. I mean, what are your rules when it comes to hiring a VA? Obviously, you have a really good VA service that everyone should be using, but if someone's not using that, or they're just trying to hire a VA, what are some rules and tips that you can give to help save someone from a bad VA?
I mean, trust but verify. So if someone tells you something, verify it, right? Look at their resume. I want a person who's been with a company for 10 years, and they say, you know what? This is my ideal situation. I decided to leave the company because it didn't serve me anymore, and I want to spend more time at home with my family. Perfect, because your loyalty shows that nothing else was gotten in the way of you not working for this particular company, but you want to spend time with your family. I can be a service to you by allowing you to work at home and overnight shifts, so you can have the whole entire day to your family. And to me, it's just making this a win-win situation for both me and the VA. And that's my number one tip I think I can give people.
Wow. Okay. And what are some tips when it comes to the cold calling wise? Like, is there a certain amount of accent that you're okay with or not? I mean, how do you deal with getting good cold callers?
Yeah, we got an entire recruitment team. Shout out to my recruitment team. It's about 8 VAs that work in that department. Wow. And we have accent trainers. So these people literally train. Before you even be able to come to my program as a VA, you will have to pass the accent screening. And if your accent is a little thick, or we don't think is appropriate for what we're trying to do in our clients, we won't allow you to come to training with us. And if it's workable, then we'll have coaching sessions to try to get you to turn that property to, property. So it's just small things. It's a lot of nuances that it takes to really run a recruitment business. Like, everybody named Lowe starting a recruitment business now, but people don't see there's a lot of sweat and tears that go behind it.
Wow. Wow. And I mean, there's not for your business and obviously your VA company, there's must be like a lot of support for these VAs.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
definitely a lot of support. Yeah, we have what we call Ace Idol. That stands for my initials, Antoine Campbell Enterprise. So we had an Ace Idol competition where all of the VA showed up and started singing. There's some amazing talents in our VA pool. People that can play guitars, people that can sing, they can hold a pitch. It was amazing. We had a family movie nights virtually where we played the Grinch and we invited all the children to come watch it. We figured out a way to make it feel like it was, we was all there at one place. And I really take pride in the virtual thing, man. I think the virtual thing is going to the next level. In the next 10 years, everything will practically be done even through the phone or virtually, where face-to-face interactions will probably be a thing of the past.
I agree. I mean, the future is definitely going more virtual here. So I think it's pretty cool that you're doing that. I mean, is obviously there's a reason you're doing that. I don't think a lot of other wholesalers with VAs are having like movie nights or things like that. I mean, what is the main reason that you spend so much time developing VAs and doing stuff like accent screening and training? I mean, is there a method to your madness doing all that stuff with your VAs?
I mean, we're trying to build a company, bro. Like,
Mm,
there's no wholesaling business that I can name right now that went public, right? The goal is, like my mentor, Brandon Dawson, he works with Grant Cardone, says you want to build a company that you can eventually exit from. You
yeah.
can sell and walk away and ride off in the sunset with a lot of money.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And when it comes to the acquisitions part, because I think we talked about the cold calling, we talked about the SMS, getting an acquisitions person for a VA is probably a lot different skill set than someone sifting through SMS. So, how are you finding a VA for acquisitions, and what are the main differences between that and just like a regular cold calling one?
It's a lot, man. It's a lot of hard and soft skills you must kind of look for. But the number one thing is they have to be a people person. They have to
Yeah.
be likable on the phone, right? They have to be understanding. They have to be a quick learner, and they have to be very sufficient in their work. They have to be able to work independently and not be able to ask a million questions and figure it out on their own and be willing to work even outside of work hours to watch videos and study. and and that's a dime a dozen. So probably for every 300 VAs we recruit, maybe two of them fits that qualification, and that's why we don't offer them to the retail public. We have a couple of kinds of VIP that we did that for, but most of the VAs we always tell our clients to try to build them up some, and then when we feel like they're ready and you feel like they're ready, we can bring them to our 6 weeks acquisition training we offer.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And how is the process with that? So let's say they go in the Podio and they got the lead. What is their job from there? Like, are they closing it? Are they building the rapport, then doing like? What's the whole process looking like acquisitions wise?
Yeah, their job is simply to figure out the pain points and make an offer. That's it. So we use a very robust calculator we built, and as long as they can figure out the three lowest comps and three highest comps, and they know the price per square footage for the construction cost, I'm comfortable with letting them make an offer on my behalf.
Wow, wow. Okay, and where are they getting their comps from?
Multiple places: Zillow, PropStream, Redfin. We always try to use multiple sources so we can be consistent in our offers.
Okay, and once you get it locked up, does it just go to a dispo?
Yeah, so we send it over to Dispo. And we already have a pre-criteria as far as what we're trying to lock up. So we put a list a certain way, and we just send it out to our list, and we call people, our VIP buyers, and try to get someone to bite on it. So that the biggest thing was figuring out how to work the ground logistics, and we got that figured out for the most part.
Wow. Okay. And how are you? Because I mean, your marketing is insanely great. But how are you doing the marketing for the cash buyers? How are you finding your good cash buyers?
Yeah, so we use Cash Buyer Data Feed, one of my favorite places to get cash buyers, and we're just looking for buyers who bought at least 5 properties in the last 12 months. Because we know for a fact 5 properties, that's a business. How many properties do it take for me to live and sustain? Well, if I made $50,000 each deal, hypothetically, and I did 5, that's $250,000. So I can sustain and make a business out of that. So we know 5 properties is the sweet spot that someone can make a living off of. and they're going to take it seriously. So they're not just a one-hit wonder investor, and they're going to pay you what you asked for, and they're going to work with you, and they're going to be very cooperative in the process.
Okay. And how is the process on handing off the deal from acquisitions to dispo? And how are you taking pictures of the property? How are you bringing buyers through? Like, what's the process? Who's in charge of everything? How does that process look?
Yeah, so our acquisition people set the expectations up front to the sellers that, hey, listen, we work with a group of investors, right? And they all put their money together to buy houses. Sometimes the partner wants the house more than we want it, and they pay us what we call a buyout fee. And you might see that on the HUD statement, but rest assured, that has nothing to do with what we agreed to today.
Hmm.
And then what happens is we set the expectations that if the seller, well, what is this fee? Remember what we talked 2 weeks ago, Mr. Seller, about the buyout fee? Well, this is what I was talking about. And then once we set the expectations and we send over the contract and it's going over to the dispo people, they know what they got to do. They do their job, they get the deal sold, and we operate under another company. I think that's what a lot of investors fail at. If you had two separate companies, an acquisition company and a disposition company, you can easily blame one or the other. So you
Hmm.
won't take all the blame. Example, the seller call you, why the hell is my house on Craigslist? Oh, Mr. Seller, I'm not even sure about that. We already worked out a deal where we already sold the house, and I guess this buyers is just looking to kind of like sell it as soon as he get it too. I'm not sure, but I can look into that for you. It's a
Hmm.
different conversation because now you're showing, hey, I'm on your side. I'm just as concerned as you. Versus, oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to sell a property and find a buyer. It's a whole different conversation.
That's Guys, that's impressive. That good cop, bad cop mentality.
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean, that took me years to figure it out. So like that's wow. Okay. What is the average assignment fee looking like for you for your virtual stuff?
It depends the market, but between I say 10 and 14,000. That on average is about 12. We would like to make 12, but I'm a type of person of I like just value. You know what I mean? So if I make a $2,500 deal, I don't care because that goes to pay somebody in my business. So I'm a revenue driven person versus me looking at it from a transactional standpoint. You're
Hmm.
never going to get nowhere. But if I can say, okay, give me 3 to 5 deals consistently a month, then I'm able to sleep better at night.
Wow. Okay. And what is your overhead looking like on a deal? Like a $12,000 deal? How much are you paying your marketing people for that? How much is the cost for the acquisitions, the dispo? What are those costs kind of looking like?
Yeah, so I'm a simple person. I don't try to overcomplicate this, right? So what it costs me to keep my doors open. So you have to do what we call a break-even analysis,
Yep.
right? So how much it costs to keep my business open for the next 12 months with VAs and my market and all that. Figure that number out, right? Let's say, for example, hypothetically, it's $6,000 a month. Or it's 6 grand a month, right? Then you do 6 grand times 12, and that's your break-even analysis. Now you just got to figure out what you need to make in order to break even. So I'm
Hmm.
really big on how profitable am I and what my burn rate is a day. You know what I mean? So if I got 3 deals locked up, or if I got 3 closing scheduled for the month, and I know I'm gonna make 40, 50 grand, and I know that my overall all-in budget is 10 grand, I'm okay with that.
Hmm. Okay. And are you paying your dispositions and your acquisitions people on commissions also?
So they're all VAs. So the beautiful thing about it is I'm leveraging that dollar. We pay them per hour. We don't pay them in draws. We pay them a regular salary plus a bonus. So they get $50 per signed deal, plus 250 per closed contract.
Wow.
So
I
all
mean,
together, all in, I'm $1,000 in per deal when it comes to that cost, right? Obviously, you got to add in the labor cost and all that. But I know what my break even analysis is, so I'm good with that.
wow. I mean, you're giving $50 to that VA. It's kind of like with you and your granddad. They give him the 5 grand. It's like the guy on the other end's making a lot too. So
Exactly.
that's just fun.
But some months everything don't close on time, right? I got deals that sitting on my books since 2018, short
Wow.
sales and all that. So my thing is, I tell my people, man, build a pipeline. Don't, because when you look at it transactional, you're gonna pull your hair out. Man, I worked on that deal so hard and they don't want to sell no more. I worked on that deal so hard and they owe the IRS 300,000. Things happen, so you just got to keep working on adding more prospects to your pipeline. That's all I could tell people.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So, let's get some questions going from the audience here, guys. If you have any questions, please comment them below. He is the REI giver for a reason. So he'll give some value. Pretty excited about this one. So say hi to everyone. Catherine, what's up? Looking forward to this. Sweet. Keeping it real. Loving it. Sweet. So, Miss G says, what VA service are you using?
Yeah, I own my own company called V1 VA. So I tell you a quick story about how we named it that. Are you familiar with planes or airlines or anything like that?
Yeah, I am.
So V1 is a pilot term. It's basically the speed at which the plane is going so fast that they can't abort or turn around if they wanted to, even if the damn plane on fire. They got to lift it up and come back around.
Wow.
So for me, that means that you're at a point, by the time you come see me and my company and getting VAs and working with you, you're at a point that there's no turning back. So that's why we're named the company V1.
Wow, that's impressive. And how can someone, if they want to use your VA service, find you?
They can text me right now, 202-335-3322, or they can go to CEO929.com and click on VAs. That's my website.
That's easy. Love it. Antoine is a beast. love the honesty. Got my first VA with him. He's been great. That's awesome. Guys, it's been heavily requested guests. This is awesome. Thank you for everything. Gian asks, in your experience with cold calling, are you able to consider a lead as motivated on the very first call, or does it take a couple follow-ups?
It depends. So the easiest thing to do is to look at your calendar and figure out what the next holidays is, and base the timeline to sell on holidays. Example, it's May, June, July, 2 months. So 2 months from now is 4th of July. So what I would say is, Mr. Seller, if I can give you a deal that you love, is selling this property before 4th of July something you would consider? And if he say yes, that's what we call one more hot lead, because that's 60 days. If he say no, that's just a cold lead you put back in rotation.
Wow. Some good stuff right here. Like, wow. I haven't even used that. Wow. Are you telling your acquisitions people to do that?
Yeah, we teach that. That's what we're teaching my 6 weeks acquisition training.
Wow, that's impressive. Don says, I use the same bonus system and VA loves it. That's awesome. Sergio says, can you talk more about getting an LLC without our names on them?
Yeah, I don't like talking about that stuff, but I go into a little details about it just because I'm not a lawyer or accountant or consult with somebody that has a license for this stuff. But honestly, guys, get you a LLC. You can register an LLC in Wyoming or these different places where you can get a third-party company to register for you. Use their address. Your name never shows up on the paperwork. I will create 2 LLCs. An acquisition LLC and a disposition LLC. And if you want, you can just create another dummy LLC as a marketing LLC. And when you call from that, hey, I'm with blah, blah, blah LLC, when they go to send you threatening letters to sue you, it's a dummy LLC. Good luck with that.
Oh, that's very important. That's some gems right there. Zadia asks, how can I find a Podio developer like yours that will help me with my setup? What's your setup again?
So yeah, I own my own Podio, basically software company. So whatever you need, just text me right now at 202-335-3322. We got our own setup. If you want us to help modify it, we can work something out and help you with that too.
Awesome. And Steve asks a really good question here. What lists are you using to get these leads?
Shit, man, I'm using a bunch of lists, but my bread and butter list people ain't hip to is the bad credit list. So what you do is you take a bad credit list. There's a website you can go to where you can filter these different filters. So I take a bad credit list. I look for people that's over the age of 50, right? I look for people with income less than $35,000 a year, and I look for people with credit scores less than 550. I combine all that into one list, and then I take that list and go to PropStream, and use their list automated, and then I start pulling my high equities. I start pulling my pre-foreclosures because it fits everything that a seller would want to sell inside the criteria.
Wow. Okay. And what was that? 35,000?
Less than 35,000 income. Because
Okay.
think about
Wow.
this: if I had high equity and I'm over the age of 50, and my income less than 35,000, my credit score less than 550, what's the possibility of me refinancing into a new loan with the high equity, even if free and clear?
Wow. And where are you getting this bad credit list?
Unlimited, melonlist.com. Melon
Wow.
list with an S, $50 a month. It even come with phone numbers. Now, why would someone like myself tell you that if I own my own skip trades company? Because I genuinely want to see people win. So even if you're flat broke and you don't have shit, just go to Unlimited Melon List and just bang them lists out until you get something going on. And you might get a lot of bad numbers, but at the end of the day, you got two choices. You can pay to play or you can just bootstrap it.
Wow. So it's MELON list.
Yeah, if you Google unlimitedmelonlist.com, it'll pop up. $50 a month. You can pull as many leads as you want in any market. Like I said, the way you really make it effective is you use the PropStream list automated to make sure that, okay, these people got high equity. Okay, these people in pre-foreclosure or whatever criteria you're looking to pull.
Wow. That's impressive. Um, let's see here. And you said you do have a skip tracing company. What is that one?
Easy Skip Tracing, EasySkipTracing.com. You
Okay.
come see us, we'll provide you as many leads as you want as long as you pay for the skip tracing.
Boom. Sweet. And let's see. What websites do you use with RI Reply? Do you integrate with Carrot, ClickFunnels, etc.?
We just started REI Apply for 2 weeks, so it's not fully integrated, but we just been testing it and texting because I like this sequence that they built in it. With the RVMs and the RVMs, the texts, and then the cold calling. I like that, so we're just testing out to see if that's something we really want to, fully integrate over to, or just keep our other platforms we use.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Wow. How long do you recommend a person cold call before they hire a VA?
Let me tell you, here's some gems right here. It's a mindset thing, guys. Look at your VAs as a part of your marketing budget. If you're willing to spend money on PropStream, skip tracing, anything else, you can hire a $4 VA, guys, because all they're doing is just calling for you and trying to get you leads. So as soon as possible, if you can afford $100 a month, a week, $400 a month, you can hire a virtual assistant.
Wow. Okay. And then with using your VA service, how much would a cold caller cost?
$4 an hour. The way we make our money, we charge a flat fee up front, which is $4.99, and that goes towards finding, recruiting, training, and your 6 months warranty. We give you a 6 month warranty. If anytime you have an issue with your VA, we replace them free of charge, no hesitation.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Are the acquisitions or dispositions getting pictures in your company?
Yes.
Okay. And how are they getting the pictures?
We use a site called bpophotoflow.com. And it's literally like the sites that the banks use when they want to go foreclose on someone's house, or they want to go finance somebody's house. They just want to make sure it's a legit house. And you pay like $20, $30 and they send you back like 50 pictures.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Is this how it's spelled, Unlimited Melon List?
Say that again?
Is that how it's spelled, Unlimited Melon List?
Yeah. Unlimited Melon List with an S, I think. .com.
Oh.
But if you Google it, it'll pop right up.
All right, sweet. And Sergio wants to know what your opinion is on REI Reply so far.
It's too soon to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Because it's integrated directly into Twilio, there's a lot of glitches. But the reason why it's attracted to me is because their model is we don't want to make money off the text messages and all that you send us. We just want to make a basic subscription fee, which is $49 a month. So when you look at all the other platforms, even though I'm a affiliate with them, from a business standpoint, it makes sense.
Awesome. And Sergio wants to know what's the minimum amount of hours using your VA service?
There's no minimum, but we definitely recommend that you hire between 20 to 25 hours a week. If you go less than that, the VA going to end up quitting on you.
Yeah, I agree. And okay, so we got some good comments there. So last couple questions I had for you was, in your real estate wholesaling business, you got a couple more gems in you, I know. What are some gems that you think you didn't give out yet, or I didn't ask, that you think would really help the audience today?
Man, stop focusing on the money and just focus on building a business. Build a business first. Get your systems, your processes together. Build your team. You can build a team with a VA. I have currently 64 VAs that work directly for me. That's not including all the VAs that we manage for other people's clients. Um, and just follow your passion. Build a business around your lifestyle. Right now, I use VAs for my children. They currently being homeschooled by a teacher from the Philippines. I pay her $5 an hour. She have a master's degree in children's education, whatever school work. She's really good. She used to work here in America last year, and what happened was they wouldn't extend her visa because of COVID. She went back home. She was applying for a cold calling position. My recruitment team knew I was looking for a teacher and pulled her off that cold calling line to give straight to me. So she's been working for me since September. So we're launching a program called V1 Academy, where all of the entrepreneurs who want to take advantage of at-home learning and take over their children's education for $5 an hour can just leave the school system behind and really take their children's education into their own hands.
Wow. That's awesome. Cool. So the last question for you is, this is the Bags Riches podcast. So I started in this business wholesaling, $300 at 17. If you were 17 or 18 years old with only $300 right now, what would you do to become the next Antoine Campbell?
I get rid of the money, because when you worrying about the $300, now you trying to figure out how you're gonna save it. Get rid of the money so you can start at zero to figure out how you can build your way up. The quicker you get to zero, the quicker you can build your way back up.
Wow. It's impressive. Rick says some gold being dropped here. That's awesome. Antoine is a VA monster. Thanks for the gems. I mean, I think you've dropped so many gems here. I really appreciate it. Really quick. So what are the services you have and how can people get a hold of them? And lastly, what is your phone number for the last time, just in case someone just hopped on and they want to get in contact with you?
202-335-3322. Text me right now. I'll text you back. Guys, listen, only text me if you want to do business. If you want a VA, if you need training, if you need a course, whatever, I really take pride in the stuff I put out there to help people. That's why I'm so loose in giving information away, because I know the information I give away helps people do deals and make a lot of money.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate the support you've been giving and really just honestly the gems you've been giving. So thank you so much. Is there any parting thoughts you have for the audience before we head out?
Man, sacrifice now. And once you sacrifice now, you can ball forever. Don't worry about what your friends doing. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else. Don't worry about the guy who started with you last year that's making $45,000 checks. Worry about you, and worry about how you can put yourself in a situation that no one can take from you.
Boom. That's it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on.